Today we asked the age-old question, how thick is too thick? So I actually got this idea from a legendary golfer, John Daly.
If you put your hands on a grip and you take it back and there's a gap between your left arm and your right hand, you're screwed. That means you're not controlling the golf club. So go get fitted for grips. Nobody does that. I think the bigger the grip is, the better you're gonna play.
And for whatever reason, this is very neglected in the baseball world. So today I'm gonna try to get to the bottom of it. Our first bat here has a 25 millimeter thickness, just pretty much the thinnest grip possible. On our next bat, we've quadrupled the grip, and this has 30 millimeters of girth. And for our last ultra thick bat, I completely used an entire roll of athletic tape, and we have a 40 millimeter grip right here. So we gotta set a baseline with just, what we call a stock grip right here, about 28 millimeters or so. And my hypothesis is that the thinner the grip, the more bat speed, the more leverage, the more potential for max power, and the thicker the grip, your leverage is gonna go down a little bit, but you're gonna be able to control the barrel significantly better. But let's let the data do the talking, let's find out. All right, that's 102. So for each bat, we're gonna get our exit velos, obviously, but we're also gonna measure barrel consistency. Out of 10 swings, how often am I barreling each bat? So for a stock bat here, we're just gonna set a velo baseline. Did pretty well. Tiny bit hands. Jeez, it's flying. Okay, that's 102 for 420. Okay, that's a good benchmark. 106 miles an hour with our stock grip. So we'll get increasingly thick as we go here, but starting out with the single layer 31 ounce bat, you'll notice that as we add grips, the weight went way up, but ultra thin handle, here we go. That's off the hands a tiny bit for 105 already. So, in theory, thin, firm handles should hit the ball a tiny bit harder at the expense of control over the bat. But that's just the hypothesis. Let's see. That feels pretty dang good already, guys. I mean, 104 for 440 already at a low launch angle. So this is somewhat problematic because we're already 3 for 3 on barrels. That's 105 for 380. There we go. There's a rollover. 94. 4 for 5 on barrels. All just scorched. 104. 5 for 6 on barrels. Another 104. Dude, we're 105. The thin grip feels so good. And I am kind of expecting the thick grip to kind of be the sleeper here, but I do feel like at the very top of my load, there is a slight hint of not controlling the bat. I will also add though that typically I prefer a thin handle, but I use this little thumb guard thing, the Pro Hitter, and it kind of almost takes away from the lost control that you get from this motion right here. So, I mean, this honestly might be the fix-all to a thin handle and not being able to control it well. Seven for 9, 106. All right, and we ended on a rollover. 7 for 10, routinely at 104, 105, 106 with a thin handle. So, let's move up to our quadruple grip right here. I think this was 30 millimeters, and this bat weighed in at I think 32.5 ounces. Let me check. Yeah, we put on a full 1.3 ounces on grips alone, but because that weight is down here, if anything, it might kind of act as a puck knob, kind of balance the bat out a little bit. Okay, first swing, let's see if we notice a difference here. I mean, that felt good. I was late on that pitch, I got to it well. It's a gapper, only 94 though. We'll give it that, 1 for 1. Absolute barrel, 106. ever so slightly, I feel a tiny bit quicker. A tiny bit quicker, but a tiny bit like not quite as whippy. So that's 98 for 414, yet we are 3 for 3. 2.5 for 3. 3.5 for 4 at 102. It feels like it is slightly easier to put the barrel on the ball, but that's only 103. We're a little bit lower. Oh, I can't give it that. 101, but chopper. 5.5 for 7. Again, a little bit lower, 104. That's one, I gotta give it that. 6.5 for 8, 106. Oh yeah. 107. Wow, so we are 7.5 for 9. Slightly better results with the same velo, if not better, guys. I will mention though, we are hitting the ball a little bit lower and with more top spin on average. And I got really good backspin with that skinny handle bat right there. So maybe that's worth something as well. Okay, this is for an 850 batting average right here. I don't know if I can give it that. That's kind of soft. Yeah, we're not gonna give it that. 7.5 for 10 with our best exit velo of the day. We'll swing them all one more time, but very good results on the pretty dang thick quad handle right there. And lastly, the moment you all have been waiting for, the thickest grip of all time, an entire roll of hockey tape, and this bat gained a whopping 3.2 ounces during the procedure, the 40mm handle. Let's go. Okay, first swing here, let's see. It actually swings so much lighter, dude. So I know it weighs a lot more. It swings lighter. There's so much counterbalance in the handle here that it really feels like I'm swinging a very well done puck knob bat. Oh my gosh, dude, I think I'm gonna like it. Okay, that's 101. All right, let's start the count. 0 for 0. That's a soft hit, but that's 1 for 1, baby. Get out. Yes, sir. 97 for 406. I mean, that's not very hard, but that's a barrel. That's 100. 2 for 2. It's just even more exaggerated. That's 103. That's a barrel, but I'm just getting on top of the ball a lot more. As a general rule of thumb, more balanced bats that you have more control with are going to hit more low line drives and grounders, and heavier bats with thinner grips are going to hit more backspin. And if you're swinging a bat that's way too light for you, you're going to hit a lot of hard rollovers. And if you're swinging a bat that's too heavy for you, or maybe too thin of a handle, you're going to miss under the ball a lot. A lot of backside fly balls and a lot of like foul balls and swing and misses. Dude, it's so light. Almost like more than I'm used to. Like, that has to count. That's 105, but we're going to give her a half point for that. So 3.5 for 5 right now. That's a soft little tank right there. All right, 4.5 for 6, only 99 for 416 right there. Okay, so far, kind of what I'm seeing right here, if you are a self-declared contact hitter, you are going to make your money by hitting singles, low line drives through the infield holes. I can see how a thick grip would actually be especially beneficial for you, because it's going to eliminate a lot of those, late miss fly balls to the backside and foul balls. You're going to hit more balls on the ground. On the inverse, if you're trying to get backspin, you're trying to hit tanks, you're trying to hit the farthest ball possible, seems like the thin handle might be the move. We still got some room to work here. 4.5 for 6. Can't give it to it. Dang. 4.5 for 7. Yeah, it's like I'm not getting it perfect though. That's a sick hit. That's 102, 411, but 6.5 for 9. That's pieced. Okay, that was pretty close to perfect. We're only at 103. So I would pretty confidently say if you have to unroll an entire roll of athletic tape, it's probably not going to help you out. And again, unless you are specifically a singles only, maybe the occasional double type of dude. But this right now is taking power away from me, and I'm not necessarily hitting that much better with it. Okay, let's try to get 7.5 at least. Tie for second. Yeah, we'll give it that. Kind of off the hands. Okay, 104 for 316. Let's get one more with each. Let's solidify it here. Tiny grip. Okay, we're gonna let it eat. It's peppered. 105. All right. The quad grip, just ever so slightly thicker than a stock regular grip right here. Dude, this one I think is my favorite, all things considered. That was a bomb. That was, whew, we gotta show this. Not necessarily perfect contact, but 103, 453. All right, and last chance for Jumbotron. I don't hate it, but it's affecting kind of my attack angle at the ball, and I'm getting a lot of that crap. 100. This was kind of the only pretty bad outlier, but okay, we're gonna end with one good barrel with the super thin handle. I feel like I didn't really get one that great with this. I hit that well. Yeah, that's 103. Okay, I really thought I was gonna get more exit velo out of a thin handle because I really feel like I get more whip with it, but honestly, with the deceivingly not that thick but slightly thick handle, I mean, I think I got my best exit velo. I had, I think, my best barrel consistency with this bat, but guys, I think moral of the story, too thick is a bit of a problem. It's gonna be really disruptive. Again, unless you're like an extreme end contact hitter, you could maybe get down with this. And on the really thin bat, it felt awesome in my hands, but I didn't see any noticeable boost in exit speed or distance from it. And in theory, this should make you control the bat just ever so slightly worse at the expense for power, but we didn't really see that power. So right in that sweet spot of like most stock grips, if not slightly thicker, I think is the move. For example though, like a Rawlings Icon or a Rawlings Clout basically come in the wrapper like this. So I would really just keep an eye out for not swinging way too thin of a grip because you're gonna lose some control. I thought we'd have maybe some shocking revelation on, oh, thick handles objectively make you hit better in baseball. I do not think that's the case. Golf clubs are just way thinner in general, so it's a lot more of a conversation. There's a lot more disparity between those. This stock grip and this slightly enlarged grip really seem to be working for most people. Just don't go too far one way or the other. If anything, slightly thicker than normal. There you go.